Hello and welcome my friends to The Flying Kick. I am Savino as always, and today we will take a look at We Could Be Heroes, a different breed of beat'em up that was released last 28th exclusively for now on Steam. But what makes We Could Be Heroes a different breed of beat'em up, I hear you ask? Well, there's a lot of stuff. First, the game is being released in an episodic format. I mean, episodic games are nothing new, but I believe this is the first time I see something like that for a beat'em up. At first I wasn't sure if this was a good idea, after all beat'em ups are usually short and sweet, often taking an hour to finish, but in this case, I think it works pretty well. You see, We Could Be Heroes will have 4 episodes, each one containing 8 scenes. I'm not sure how long each episode will be since I haven't played them all, but the first one can easily take around 1 hour to beat, which is on par with other games on the market. That's why I think the episodic format can work. After all, beating a 4+ hour beat'em up isn't an easy thing to do, at least not in one seat. I said the chapter had around 8 levels, but in reality it can have fewer since you can find alternate routes and skip one level. Well, at least here in the first chapter you can. At the end of the chapter 1, you can pick the subway or cross the street. One path will take you to the second level in the game, while crossing the streets will take you to the third one. Another thing that makes this game unique is the impressive amount of enemies. According to the press release, the game has around 1,000 different enemies, and you will notice it right away thanks to the lack of clones. And your enemies will give you a lot of trouble since everybody in this town knows how to fight, how to use weapons, and how to ruin your day in minutes. I mean, not everybody knows how to fight. There are these enemies who spin their arms like an idiot, but you got the idea. And I said everybody instead of your enemies because the game has a lot of neutral NPCs that aren't criminal scum like most of your enemies. But being neutral, they can often take sides and they can attack your enemies or you if you decide or accidentally attack them. How you deal with these NPCs will reflect on your overall score, labeling you as a hero or an anti-hero. And how you deal with your enemies also influences your score because here you can knock them out or murder them. It's up to you. This whole NPC taking sides is interesting because you can have 2 or 3 enemies at any moment and in the next you are surrounded by tens of enemies because you accidentally threw a pipe at a passerby. It will happen a lot, believe me. It's pretty hard to be a hero at all levels, mostly because sometimes it can be a bit hard to distinguish who is an enemy and who isn't. Your enemies will act aggressively, while other NPCs will try to avoid confrontation, but more than once I was fooled by their design, thinking it was just an NPC when in reality it was another enemy. I think this is a side effect of having 1,000 characters in the game. I mean, in the end, you can't say who is bad or good just by the looks, just like in real life. As you can see, the game looks like something out of a 32-bit machine with low poly count, low res textures, and jagged lines all over the place. I will be the first to say that I like this nostalgic look very much. I know this is not for everybody, you must have a certain age or mindset to enjoy this kind of visual, but even so, you cannot deny this is very unique, especially nowadays where pixel art is again the norm. The animations follow the art style, they are clunky and hard with low frame counts, and it fits the overall aesthetics. While in some games this could be something detrimental, here I think it adds to this PlayStation 1 feel of the game. The music in the game is good, it's nothing out of the ordinary, but what the developer did here is good enough. There are some tunes like the first one that I like very much, but overall there's nothing here that will stick with you after you play the game, unfortunately. The game has some voice too, and they are okay. Some are fun, like these guys talking about stealing this car.
I can't get it open. I got an idea. Stand aside.
But some are clearly made using some text-to-speech too. I mean, it doesn't bother me, especially considering this is the work of a solo dev, but it can sound pretty robotic sometimes. Now, when it comes to the combat, there are a few interesting things to talk about here. You might have noticed by now that the combat is not the same as your typical brawler. While you have a set of moves that you can use here, the main attraction of this show is the physics. But we will get there. First, let's talk about the characters and combat. In We Could Be Heroes, you have 4 characters to pick, which are your typical beat'em up characters. Simon, your all-around guy, Mia, the fast and weak female, Byron, the grappler, and finally Penelope, which feels a bit slower than Mia, but as strong as Simon, I believe. I haven't played too much with her. She also has a huge reach, which can be pretty useful in this game. The combat is a bit on the simpler side. You have a punch, a kick, a back attack, a grab, and you can also run and jump, and that's it. There's no special, no desperation, nothing fancy. It has a more realistic feel to it, with moves based on reality more than on spectacle. There are a few combos here that you can unleash by combining the directional and your attacks, but they are variations of your basic combo and not something that you'll be used to throw your enemies in the air and juggle them around. As I said, things here are more grounded. Finishing your combos by pressing up or down will throw your enemies in these directions, hitting objects in the backgrounds, other NPCs, enemies. It's very cool to throw an enemy through a glass panel or a shelf and see all the bits and pieces flying around. Your throw can be used in the same way and can lead to some pretty funny situations, but more than the combat, the main star of this show is the physics, as I said. We Could Be Heroes uses an advanced physics system to allow the player to use almost everything in the level as a weapon. You can see by the footage how versatile and fun doing this kind of stuff can be. There are tons of breakable objects, tons of items on shelves and displays that you can use as weapons. I mean, it's unheard of something like this in a beat 'em up. You can break a car and use its parts, you can carry drums around and beating the living heck of each person walking by. It's really impressive the level of interaction in this game. You can enter stores which are pristine when you get in and live in the most complete chaos after breaking everything there. It's fun and funny as heck. And the game can be pretty violent too. There's blood everywhere. You can chop enemies' limbs off, cut their heads, split them in two. There's enough gore here to make Mortal Kombat blush. But even with all this violence, We Could Be Hero is a game that in no moment takes itself too seriously. It's all very goofy, and I like that. Unfortunately, there are a ton of problems here that prevent this game from being the good time it can be. The first thing is the physics system. While it is extremely fun to toy around with it, it's all pretty janky and sometimes broken. I am no developer, but I know dealing with physics in-game can be pretty hard and things are prone to go wrong more often than not. More than once I saw bugs that cost me health or even broke the game completely, forcing me to restart the level. While I admire the use of such a system in this game, I believe it has to work properly, and with a lot of limitations, all the player experience can be ruined thanks to some unintended effects. But if it was just the broken physics, I would be okay with it. As I said, I can imagine how hard it is to implement something like that, and I admire the developer's boldness to try it, and I'm willing to give the bugs a pass. But there are more serious problems here, and it is the enemies, or better yet, the enemy's AI. In We Could Be Heroes, the AI isn't aggressive. It's enraged, and they want your skin. Enemies move extremely fast, and they aren't that smart. They will try to surround you, but they won't do this like a human would do, trying to look for the best moment to sneak behind you and attack. Here, they will walk like crazy, trying desperately to position themselves behind you, and thanks to their crazy speed, things like that are bound to happen all the time. You can see how the enemy wants to get behind me, and no matter how the situation changes, that's what they will try to do. It's comical to see something like that, but unfortunately for the wrong reasons. Even if you try to put your back against the wall, enemies will try and succeed getting behind you and getting their revenge. And if this is a problem when you have one enemy, can you imagine what happens when you have a screen full of them? We Could Be Heroes has no problem in throwing tons of enemies at you at the same time. It can happen because you hit people by mistake or because you walked too far on the level and all the enemies decide to go after you at once. There are no invisible walls here limiting how far you can go before cleaning a wave of enemies. As soon as you start the level, you can walk to its end with some not so fun consequences. I mean, I'm not complaining about the huge amount of enemies, but unfortunately your characters aren't equipped to deal with the barrage of bad guys coming in their direction. The lack of desperation moves or special means that you will be surrounded more often often than not, and there's nothing you can do to save yourself. Yes, you have the back attack, but your enemies are very, very fast, and they can and will hit you no matter what. Things are a little better when playing with other 3 people. The mayhem is very fun, but if you're planning to play this game alone, be prepared to be more frustrated than anything else. And there is also the price. The game costs $25 for all 4 episodes, plus a bonus one that is also planned. I mean, if all episodes are the same length as this one, there will be a ton of content for the price here, but the thing is, will they really come? I'm not doubting the developer here. I know the guy, I trust he will finish his work, but you are not me. You don't know the guy, and that's a valid concern that every consumer can have, especially when we're talking about a studio with a single developer. I'm okay with him selling the promise of future content, but I think that putting a price on each one of the episodes would make things more interesting for the players. If they like it, a bundle with all the other 3 episodes could be available as pre-order. That's if you're getting the game. As it is right now, it's hard for me to recommend the game based on the price and how broken the game still is. The physics needs a lot of work, and the enemies need to be more varied, because so far, while the press release says 1000 enemies, what you really get are 1000 skins. The enemies are not varied enough since they all will behave basically in the same way with just a couple of attack variations. Even the bosses, or at least the big guys from the levels, fight in the same way as your regular NPC. Another thing that bothers me here is that your character has only one life that does not refill when you start a new level. And to add salt to injury, there's only 1 health pack in each level and it's often hidden. Oh, and by the way, it just refills a bit of your health. This alone will make the game a chore to beat because, in the end, you will have to resort to spamming flying kicks to avoid being hit left and right by characters as fast or much faster than you. Not to mention wonky hitboxes and the complete absence of iframes. It's common to have your throw interrupted because an enemy hit you halfway through. There's also other problems here, like the lack of invisible walls. While this makes sense for what the game is trying to be, it doesn't work so well in the end. Enemies can be alerted of your presence and suddenly a whole level's worth of enemies is chasing you around. Invisible walls could go a long way limiting the number of enemies on the screen and making the game more pleasant to play. I really wanted to like this game and, in a certain way, I liked it very much. There is something cool and unique here, but I don't think this is ready as a finished commercial product. As a $5 to $8 early access first episode, sure, I would be recommending this all over the place, but for $25, unfortunately, I can't recommend it now. I will be back to this game in the future. As I said, I know the developer and I know this is the kind of feedback he's looking for, so I believe things will change for the better. And that's it for the review, guys. I mean, partial review, I guess, since the game does not have all the episodes available, but anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments what are your thoughts about this one, if this is something that interests you, or if not, is there something the dev could add that would change your mind? Let me know down below, and in the meantime, I hope you all have an awesome day, and remember, keep it up.